Welcome to What's Kickin' Columbia, the show featuring Columbia, Tennessee, the southern town with a kick. Columbia Housing and Redevelopment has been working on some big projects lately, and Trent Ogilvie is here to share some updates.
Hello, I'm Trent Ogilvie, CEO of Columbia Housing Redevelopment Corporation, and I want to welcome you to our newly renovated apartment. We are doing wonderful work, renovations on all of 140 apartments in our Creekside development that is made up of Southern Hills and Creekside. A total of 140 apartments are being renovated, just like this two-bedroom apartment that I'm in here today. It is such a wonderful experience to be able to go through this, which we started in August of 2017. We've been steady, making sure that we take care of our current residents and relocating them to other lodging apartments that we have so that we can do a total interior rehab of the apartment. It includes new ceilings, floors, paint, brand new kitchens with appliances, as well as bathroom renovations to really give a new look and feel and improve the quality of life of our residents. And the important thing that we wanted to do was make sure that we didn't wait to do this type of renovation. As Columbia grows, we want to make sure that we grow in providing affordable housing for those in our community who need it most. So we've had a lot of great support from the City of Columbia, as well as First Tennessee Bank and other contributors, THDA with our tax credits. This is a multifamily tax credit project that we're able to spend about $45,000 per apartment in doing renovations. So this is phase one, 140 apartments. We're about half the way toward that goal of completing the 140. And phase two will be starting pretty soon, 155 apartments that consist of Northridge and Oakwood. So we're going to make sure that by the end of 2019, all of the housing in the portfolio of Columbia Housing Redevelopment Corporation will be renovated so that we can be prepared to continue offering housing for the future just as well as we have in the past. One thing, the residents are very excited. For many of them, it's like having a brand new home. And I think just knowing that the investment is being made in their lives, I hope that it instills pride and just make Columbia a great place to raise a family. So I think that's the direct impact it's having on the lives of people in our community. You can definitely go on our website, which is www.chrc-tn.org, or you can stop by our office located at 101 Penny Avenue here in Columbia, Tennessee. Our telephone number is 931-388-5203. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions, answer your call, to see you at CHRC, because it's a great place to be.
Columbia native Bowser Frakes has quite a story, and Adam Southern is here to tell you all about this death-defying character.
Well, I'm Adam Southern, and this is another edition of Historic Columbia, Tennessee. And we're standing on beautiful West 7th Street in downtown Columbia, Tennessee, outside of this building here. Many people remember it as being the old Columbia Elks Lodge. But during the Civil War, this is an antebellum structure. It was here before the Civil War. During the war, the Polk family was living here. Mrs. Dr. William Julius Polk was living here. And they had some names, the Polk family did. William Julius Polk. But Mrs. Polk was living here, and they actually brought the body of Patrick Claiborne here and laid him out just before his funeral and burial here in Columbia. So an antebellum structure. But many people remember it as being the Elks Lodge. Had a beautiful elk statue that stood out here on the sidewalk, and no matter what time you were coming by during the day, there was usually an old man or two sitting on the front porch of this building. And over the years, they rounded off the bricks. You can go and look at the back side of this porch, and where they would prop up their feet, they actually rounded off the bricks, and now it's a smooth finish back there. So just think about how many times an old man had to put his foot up there to round it off so smooth. Now, one man that you might see there a lot was Mr. Frank Foster Frakes, better known as Bowser. And Bowser was a local legend in Murray County. Everybody knew who Bowser was. Everybody knew his dog, Ike. He had a dog that would travel with him wherever he went, had a platform built on the back of his car, and kids would feed Ike candy bars. Never hurt him, and he really liked them. But Bowser, like I said, was a legend. In the early 1900s, about 1916, he saw his first airplane being flown, and he just fell in love. His uncle was flying it. It was an old crop duster, and he wanted to learn everything that he could about these airplanes. So he stayed real close with his uncle. He learned everything that he could, and then when America entered World War I, he signed up to be a pilot. But they told him, no, you don't have the required college to be a pilot. So instead, his contribution to World War I was rounding up Murray County mules for the war effort. And he said the closest he ever came to flying was when one mule kicked him 30 feet into the air. So he did a little bit of flying in World War I. When the war is over, the Allies are victorious. All these airplanes are now surplus property, and Bowser can go and buy some very cheap. So he and several other daredevils go out and buy these airplanes and put on these barnstorming shows. And they do all these acrobatics in the air and anything they can do to draw a crowd. But then the Depression hits. People aren't paying good money to come see these air shows. So Bowser has to come up with a new gimmick. And he thinks, why don't I just crash an airplane? Nobody's ever done that before on purpose. So he does it. And he does it for a crowd of 30,000. People love it. So he starts going all over the country, crashing airplanes. He crashes them into houses, into barns, into cars, and once into a lake. And, you know, he becomes kind of a famous guy across the country for doing this. But pretty soon the Aviation Commission gets pretty upset, you know, crashing airplanes kind of against the rules there, Bowser. So they start looking for him. Every time that they would find that Bowser was being billed at one of these air shows or county fairs, state fairs, they would send the police to come look for him. So Bowser came up with the idea of, hey, I'm going to act like I'm hurt after I crash this airplane. So he would act like he was hurt. The ambulance would come, take him off in a stretcher, and go off towards the hospital. And he'd say, hey, let's not go to the hospital. Just drop me off right here. I'm fine. He'd catch a ride to his hotel or to the next town. So he would stay one step ahead of the law that way. Until that didn't work. The police started catching on, and they got into the back of the ambulance with him. He thought they were doctors, and they said, okay, we're going to the ambulance. And he said, no, I'm fine. Cop said, okay, we're going to the jail then. And so the police finally catch up with Bowser, but Bowser saw the writing on the wall. His time as a crack-up pilot was coming to a close, but on the horizon was another world war. And Bowser actually offers his services to the British. And he says, look, you tell me where Hitler lives, I will fly a plane right down his chimney and kill the sucker. But they said, look, you know, we could probably use your help, but not that way. So he joins the Royal Air Force, and he helps them teach pilots. And, you know, with his experience as an aviator and also as a person who crashed for a living, I'm sure he came into great help. Teaching these young pilots how to fly and how to safely crash. And when America enters the war, he joins the American Air Force and sees the war through. When the war's over, he comes back to Columbia, his hometown, and Bowser knows that he can't be a crack-up anymore. So he comes up with a new gimmick. He takes a casket, lines it with dynamite, and blows himself up, called the Casket of Death. And he does this for several years, and later on he comes up with a rocket routine where he takes a rocket, rides it into the air, and it blows up. Bowser was just a natural born stunt man and a showman. He knew how to put on a show and how to draw a crowd. This has been a look at West 7th Street and a local legend, Bowser Frakes. If you'd like to read more about Bowser Frakes, visit my website, historicmurraycounty.com, or come see me at the library. Thanks for watching.
Bistro 822 is now open, and Marcus Malone is here to tell you all about it.
My name is Marcus Malone. I am one of the proprietors here at Bistro 822 now, formerly Marco's at 822 South. I'm lucky enough now to have David and Nikki Baxter as partners. We've made some dramatic changes, all for the better, and we're passionate about the city. We're passionate about good food. We're passionate about homemade food made from scratch. We do everything in-house from scratch, from battering our own chicken to making our onion rings from scratch. I think if you've eaten here before, you know that we have probably the best onion rings and cheeseburgers and hamburgers in town. Along with barbecue and macaroni and cheese, comfort food. That is our mantra. We want people to come here and have a complete experience. From the time you walk in the door, we want you to feel at home. We want you to feel like it's your space. We want you to have a delicious meal and be full. We have several new draft beers on tap now. We have 10 draft beers. Our goal is to be the Cheers of Columbia. We want people to feel comfortable and safe in a fresh kind of hip environment. And you can see we've added more tables and chairs. We moved the bar to the upstairs so that and the downstairs is more of a dining room area now with booths. So we've separated the two. So if you want to come listen to music and still sit away from it and carry on a conversation, you can do that. If you want to be right in the middle of the music, come hang out at the bar and be part of the party crowd on the weekends. We've accommodated people with that as well. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. I think we're just so different than any other entity right now in this town because we're passionate about the food, we're passionate about the music, we're passionate about our relationship with this community, and we have the greatest onion rings and cheeseburgers this side of the Mississippi, guaranteed. If people are interested in seeing the calendar and the events that we are putting on a weekly basis, the best places to go is the Facebook page. It's Bistro 822.
You've been watching What's Kicking Columbia. For more information, visit columbiatn.com. Thanks for watching and come kick it with us next time.